2 degrees away from that ice day today.
Oh, yeah?
Oh. Where's the mayor?
You said his name and he's popping up.
Phil, are you ready? To go. Everything's ready? All right. Call to order the second regular council meeting in the village of Minerva, January 26, 2021. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the Lord's Prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. We are live tonight on YouTube, and also council meetings are recorded, so you can view them at a later time. So let's start out with our guests tonight. I see we have Denise with us, Freeland from the chamber. Denise, we're going to turn it over to you.
Okay. We've been working at the Roxy. We showed in December, we showed the Nutcracker. We only had 6 people there, but 2 of them were a couple who were celebrating their 67th anniversary. And it was really sweet because they said that when they were dating, they used to go to movies at the Roxy. And he told us all about how they'd go to a movie at the Roxy, and then they would go to Mark's Dairy Bar, and they'd each have a hamburger and a milkshake, and it cost them $1. And they really enjoyed being able to do that on their anniversary. So that made it worth doing. We showed 9 to 5 last Saturday. We had 5 people there. On the 20th, February 20th, we're showing The King and I. We have started offering the theater for private movie rentals for $75. 20 people can rent the theater. They provide their own DVD. The price includes popcorn for everybody, and then we'll sell other concessions and drinks if they want that. I sent that information out to the chamber members today, sort of giving them first shot, but we're going to have that open to the public as well. We received a donation from Annette and Stuart Mapes and State Farm Insurance. State Farm has a program where the Mapeses made a donation and State Farm will match it. So we have some money to spend, and they've earmarked that for whatever we need at the theater. So the Roxy crew of volunteers met Saturday during the movie to discuss what kinds of equipment we need. We're looking at organizational types of equipment right now and some things for the concession stand. So we came up with a really good wish list, more than we have money to fund at this point, but it's good to know what we're working towards. And I've been working on gathering prices, and we're going to prioritize that and figure out what we're going to get right away. So far as upcoming programming other than movies, we're planning to live stream a Celtic show in March. And another thing that we discussed Saturday, and Nate and I have been in communication about it, we're looking at possibly live streaming a radio drama at some point this spring. And Nate and I also decided that we would move the next play that we had planned. We're moving that to February of 2022. So that's what we have planned for the Roxy. The Jazz Fest, the Chamber Board discussed that a little bit at the last board meeting, and we're not even gonna plan for the possibility of a full-fledged festival. We're gonna plan for an alternate type of event, probably some live stream musical events, probably another drive-through arts and crafts show, that sort of thing. Let's see. In terms of economic development, we've got a new insurance and financial services agent who would very much like to locate in Minerva. So she's looking for office space. I'm trying to help her with that. And Green Carbon International, that we've talked about at other meetings, they're working on trying to line up their financing. And Phil and I organized a Zoom meeting with Mark Hollingshead, who's our contact with Green Carbon, and Raphael from Stark Economic Development Board, and a representative of Team NEO, and Mark last week. And he gave them the rundown on what the plan is for Green Carbon, and they told him what information they need from him to help him figure out what kind of financing is available. He's also contacting legislators. He had asked for contact information for legislators, which I provided him. And I also had reached out to a number of different agencies and organizations, USDA, Omega, Stark Economic Development Board, Magnet, and Ohio Development Services Agency. And they sent a ton of information for new businesses that are looking to locate in Ohio. So I've forwarded that all on to Mark. And that's about all I've got right now, unless anybody has questions.
Anybody have any questions for Denise? Just to share some information, I'm the representative on the chamber board, and Denise's yearly review was discussed at the last board meeting, and she went through that at a very high level. That people are very pleased with what she's doing, even in the COVID. So just want to say thanks again to her for all she's doing. She's our eyes and ears in a lot of things out there. So we really appreciate what she does. So thanks, Denise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
All right, moving on to some of the items then on the agenda. Motion is in order to approve the minutes of the first Raider Council meeting held January 12th, 2021.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion second on that motion. On the motion, discussion, roll call.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Meadows,
Yay.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Hannon.
Yeah.
Motion so approved. That's the only motion in the consensus items. Turn over to the administrator, Phil Tursky.
Thank you, Mayor. Only a couple things tonight. The village, through the police department, will be applying for a Ohio Attorney General body armor grant. It's through the 2020 grant, but they extended it to 2021. The way it works, you figure out how much bulletproof vest you need, how much the cost is, you apply for the grant. If you're accepted, you buy the equipment up front, and they will reimburse 75% back to the village. So we are working on that. And then also, Save that since it's an item. Just that we got you asked for more information on the sign and how to reduce the costs. Doing the footer and excavating ourselves will save $10,000 on the cost. Considering modifications to the size and the format of the sign will save on cost, but we are also contacting and trying to find other manufacturers that can give us some other ideas. But for tonight, that's all I have.
Phil, that is
Thank
not,
you.
have we looked at all into, is that something the Minerva Welding would be able to do?
Got to ask them.
I have no idea. It'd be great to stay local if
Agreed.
Any other questions for Phil at this time? If not, we'll move on to JT, the service director.
Thank you, Mayor. In the street department, they repaired an access road out at the Nigro Farm. Did some HPM patching, asphalt patching on January 14th. Repaired 3 of the antique street lights uptown. Replaced the street sign at West Lincoln Way and Grant. It got run over. They've been called out for road conditions so far on the 15th, the 16th, the 18th, and the 20th. And we have, so far this season, for the winter season, we've used 529 tons of salt. And they repaired a couple leaking cylinders on the John Deere backhoe. I want to thank those guys for that. They saved the village quite a bit of money. Those cylinders are sort of oddball, and to replace them, it would have cost $2,000 a piece. So they did a good job on that, and I want to thank them. In the water department, we're still locating assets for GIS mapping. They're doing that about 2 days a week. Had some telemetry that was updated and repaired. We had a 6-inch water main break on the 14th in the 700 block of McDaniel. We flushed the hydrant on Park Avenue on the 15th due to past complaints. And we had a fire hydrant that was struck by a truck on Bridge and Booth. We filed a report with the PD. Had another 6-inch water main break in the 700 block Allen on the 24th this past Sunday. We're assisted by the Park and Street Department. And we are still working on the AWIA risk and resilience assessment. Like I previously reported, I believe that's due on June 30th. I'm trying to spend 1 day a week on that. It's not working out too good, but I'm trying to do I am doing some hours each week on that. So wastewater department, we had a slug discharge that was noted yesterday. We did get a grab sample. The dairy did not run their composite sampler, so we weren't able to get a composite sample. And we also noticed the discharge this morning between midnight and 7 a.m. The guys did go to the dairy and got a composite sample. Park department are working on winter maintenance items. With zoning, we've got 2 new nuisance cases, and I attached the case report to your handout earlier. And we have 1 pending zoning permit. And you also have a report on that, and that's all I have unless you have questions.
Any questions for JT at this time? I think the guys did a great job on the roads. That came on pretty quick, and I think they got out there and got that knocked down real quick. I think it saved a lot of issues in the village. So, JT, on the fire hydrant that got hit by a truck.
Yeah.
Did that particular driver get caught?
No, he did not.
He did not.
Actually, the water department was out yesterday morning reading industrial meters, and they noticed it. They called me, so I went out there. There were 2 trucks making a delivery at the time. Looked like the truck that hit it with the front bumper, so I went and checked both the trucks. There was no contact marks or damage to the bumpers, and it did push the hydrant over pretty good, so it had to cause some damage, but it wasn't either one of those trucks. So we did contact the police department. The police department did come out. I haven't seen the report yet, so I don't know if they've made any progress on it or not.
They don't have, oh, so they would possibly dig into the log at Imperial Aluminum and see
It
if they
wasn't
could
a-
locate the trucks.
It was actually over at General Color.
Oh, okay. Okay. Any other questions for JT this time?
Cool. I'm in a council meeting. Thanks. See you, Jeff.
Okay, all right, that's Clark making noise. So, all right, I don't have anything at this time, so we'll go into our old new business. Motion is in order to have third reading by title only and for passage of ordinance 4920, an ordinance approving the Village of Minerva investment policy.
I'll make
I'll make that motion.
Discussion? Discussion? Roll call.
Meadows,
Yeah.
Hannon,
Yay.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit.
Yay. Ordinance 4920 so ordained. Or I'm sorry, title first, right?
Ordinance number 49-20, an ordinance approving the Village of Minerva investment policy.
Ordinance 4920 so ordained. Item C, this is for second reading. Motion in order for resolution 121, authorizing interfund transfers of interest earned proportionally from specific accounts from the general fund back to the respective accounts generating said interest earnings. This is second reading. Need a motion for second reading.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Motion second. Discussion. Roll call.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yay.
Meadows,
Yay.
I'm sorry, just to go back to ordinance 4920, Brenda, do you need a motion to approve?
yes, Clark, I do.
The motion was for third reading by title only and for passage.
Oh, okay,
Oh, did you get that, Brenda?
I got it now.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Okay, back to resolution number 1-21. Resolution number 1-21, authorizing the interfund transfer of interest earned proportionally from specific accounts from the general fund back to the respective accounts generating said interest earnings.
Motion is in order to accept second reading.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second. Roll call.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yay.
Meadows.
Yay.
121 second reading so approved. Motion is in order to have second reading of resolution 221, authorizing the finance director to move monies from one line item to another within funds that are solely designated as allowable transfers by the auditor of the state of Ohio and the Ohio Revised Code. The approval of such allowable transfers is for fiscal year 2021. This motion is for second reading.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Boldazar.
Yay.
Resolution number 2-21, authorizing the finance director to move monies from one line item to another within funds that are solely designated as allowable transfers by the auditor of state of Ohio and the Ohio Revised Code. The approval of such allowable transfers is for fiscal year 2021.
Thank you, Clark. Motion is in order to approve the second reading of resolution 221.
I'll make that.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Kishman,
Yay.
Boldazar.
Yay.
Second reading is so approved of resolution 2021. Motion is in order to have second reading of ordinance 3-21, authorizing the village administrator to advertise and receive bids for milling of various municipal streets. This motion will be for second reading.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit.
Yay. Clark.
Ordinance number 3-21, authorizing the village administrator to advertise and receive bids for the milling of various municipal streets.
Thank you, Clark. Motion is in order to accept second read.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit.
Yay. Second reading so approved. Motion is in order to have second reading of ordinance 4-21, authorizing the village administrator to advertise and receive bids for material and/or labor for resurfacing of village streets and other municipally owned properties. This is for second reading.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
First and second, roll call.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Meadows.
Yay.
Clark.
Ordinance number 4-21, authorizing the village administrator to advertise and receive bids for material and/or labor for resurfacing of village streets and other municipally owned properties.
Thank you, Clark. Motion's in order to accept the second reading of ordinance 4-21.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Meadows.
Yay.
Second reading of 4-21 is so approved. G. Motion in order to have second reading of ordinance 5-21, an ordinance authorizing the village of Minerva, Ohio to sell personal property not needed for public use, obsolete, or unfit for use by internet auction pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15. This would be a motion for second reading.
I'll make
make
that
motion.
motion.
I'll second.
First motion made, second. Roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Kishman,
Yay.
Boldazar.
Yay.
Ordinance number 5-21, an ordinance authorizing the village of Minerva, Ohio to sell personal property not needed for public use, obsolete, or unfit for use by internet auction pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 721.15.
Thank you, Clark. Motion in order to accept second reading of ordinance 5-21.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Kishman,
Yay.
Boldazar.
Yay.
Second reading of 5-21 is so approved. Motion is in order for resolution 9-21, a resolution adopting the Carroll County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan and declaring it an emergency. This motion will be for first read.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
First and second, roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit.
Yay.
Resolution number 9-21, a resolution adopting the Carroll County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan and declaring it an emergency. Whereas natural, technological, and man-made hazards can affect the village of Minerva, whereas significant structural, historical, and economic losses could result from an occurrence of a natural, technological, or man-made hazard event. Whereas undertaking mitigation projects during pre-disaster periods could decrease the total losses the village of Minerva incurs as a result of said hazard occurrences. And whereas the Minerva Village Council has a strong interest in reducing losses from future hazard occurrences. Whereas the hazard mitigation plan is a federal and state requirement to maintain eligibility for hazard mitigation funding, and that requirement must be updated a minimum every 5 years. Whereas a cooperative joint effort is a proven efficient way to plan for and reduce hazard susceptibility in all government jurisdictions in Carroll County, Ohio. And whereas the Minerva Village Council has partnered with the county to update the existing Carroll County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan in an effort to further identify, define, and characterize the hazards affecting the village, as well as to continue identifying and prioritizing projects that could lessen hazard vulnerability. Now therefore be it resolved by the Minerva Village Council does hereby adopt the updated Carroll County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan. This resolution is declared an emergency measure necessary to the immediate preservation of the public health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the village of Minerva, Ohio, to ensure an expedited adoption of the plan within the timeline set by the federal and state emergency management agencies, and shall become effective at the earliest date allowed by law.
Thank you, Clark. Hey, Phil, before we go on from here, do you want to enlighten the public a little bit about what this, just a kind of an overview of what this is and why it's an emergency?
The reason for the emergency is we need it back to the county by February 19th. I think it was about, from the notes that I have, this is before I got here, but in 2019, a committee was formed to update the hazard mitigation plan that was currently in place. Through this, the goal for this is to identify risks and vulnerabilities from hazards that affect Carroll County and the municipalities within the county, to give the public a little bit of idea that the heavy hitters that face the county, wildfire, tornado, severe winter storm, public health emergencies, oil and gas emergencies, landslide, and flooding are some of the higher ones. And the lowest one on the list is dam/levee failure. So it's an update to the current plan.
Okay. All right, motion in order to accept first reading.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit.
Yay. First reading so approved. Due to the fact that this has been declared to be handled by emergency, motions in order to suspend the statutory rules and to have second and third reading by title only and for passage.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion second, roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yeah.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Tarbit.
Yay. Clark?
Resolution number 9-21, a resolution adopting the Carroll County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan and declaring an emergency.
Resolution 9-21, I believe, is resolved, correct, Brenda?
Yes, correct.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, motion in order for ordinance 10-21, an ordinance approving a settlement agreement with the Minerva dairy parties to resolve a pending lawsuit and declaring it an emergency. This would be for the first reading.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Meadows,
Yay.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Hannon.
No.
4 1s and a nay,
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead, Clark.
Ordinance number 10-21, an ordinance approving a settlement agreement with Minerva dairy parties to resolve a pending lawsuit and declaring it an emergency. Whereas the Village of Minerva and Minerva Dairy Inc. are involved in a pending lawsuit alleging effluent discharges that interrupt operation of the municipal wastewater treatment plant. And whereas the parties to the lawsuit have reached a settlement agreement to resolve the issues in the lawsuit, and council deems it necessary to approve the settlement agreement. Now therefore be it ordained by the council of the Village of Minerva, Stark, Carroll, and Columbiana Counties, Ohio, that 1, the settlement and release agreement between the Village of Minerva, Ohio, and the dairy parties is hereby approved as set forth in Exhibit A attached. 2, Philip Tursky, Village Administrator, is authorized to execute the settlement agreement on behalf of the Village of Minerva. 3, this ordinance is declared an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public health, safety, and welfare of the residents of the Village of Minerva, Ohio, to ensure an expedited approval of the settlement agreement and the installation by the Minerva Dairy of a flow-based composite sampler and flow meter to permit the daily monitoring and proper surcharging of this to the wastewater treatment plant, and shall become effective at the earliest date allowed by law.
Thank you, Clark. Motion in order to approve first reading.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Roll call.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Meadows,
Yay.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Hannon.
Nay.
4 yeas and a nay for approving first reading. Since this is I think since this is an important piece of that we're voting on here, I believe that normally at this point we would have a motion to suspend the statutory rules and just have second and third reading. We're going to do that. That's the motion, that we're going to have the second and third reading by, but it will not include a vote on the passage. All we're going to do is have second and third reading, and then we will vote on whether we approve the second or third reading. Clark, you might have to help me here. And then can we have a roll call to approve it overall? Or just have second reading and do that on the third?
Well, if you have second and third reading by title only and have the vote on that, then I can do the second and third reading by title only. And then you would need a motion for approval, motion and second for the approval, and then the roll call.
Okay, that's the way we're going to go. We're going to have a separate vote here on approval. So it's not going to be an automatic passage like we did on the one before. Everybody understand?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Motion is then in order to have suspend the rules, statutory rules, and have second and third reading by title only.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Meadows,
Yay.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Hannon.
Nay.
Clark, can we now have the final roll call for the whole thing?
Well, I'll read by title only.
Okay.
Ordinance
This is
number
just
ten
the re-
21, an ordinance approving a settlement agreement with the Minerva Dairy parties to resolve a pending lawsuit and declaring it an emergency. And now you can do a motion for approval, Mayor.
Motion is in order to approve second and third reading and for passage of ordinance 10-21.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion second. Roll call for approval.
Tarbit,
Nay.
Meadows,
Yay.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Hannon.
Nay.
3 yeas,
Okay.
2 nays.
Okay, so the,
Ordinance 10-21, Clark would then be so ordained, correct?
yes, let me check something real quickly. That is correct. A majority vote will result in passage of the ordinance.
10-21, so ordained. Question on that, or if anybody's watching publicly, at what time could a village resident see the specifics of the settlement as public record?
That's a question to me, Mayor.
Yes.
Okay. Once this is approved, I will be notifying our litigation attorneys tomorrow. And once that ordinance is passed and it's into the record book, then it would become a public record.
And is that agreement viewable?
It would have to be
through-
executed, I'm sorry, by both
Okay.
of the parties. And once we have an executed agreement, then it would become a public record.
So is that public record available for the general public to look at through the court system as an attachment to this case?
I don't believe that it would be filed in the court case. So they would probably have to come to the village and make a record request.
So is it still considered pending litigation?
Well, once this agreement is executed, then the case will be dismissed. But that will take some time for the dismissal to be filed.
So until then, though, it's still considered pending.
It would be a pending case, yes.
Okay.
But we would have a settlement agreement executed.
And it just so anybody watching and that knows, this does not have anything to do with the odor cases that have been filed against the dairy. Those are separate things. So just so you know, this has nothing to do with settling on the odors, so. All right. Item J. Motion in order. There's a motion to authorize the expenditure of an amount not to exceed $13,089 for the purchase of 15 sets of body armor for the police department, and authorizing the village administrator to make an application for reimbursement of 75% of the cost through the Ohio Attorney General 2020 Body Armor Grant. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I'll second.
Discussion. Phil, you want to explain what's going to happen here?
Yeah, the body armor that the police currently has needs to be replaced placed, and the Ohio Attorney General has a body armor grant. It's the 2020 grant, but it carries over to 2021, where you figure out how much you need. You apply for that money through the Attorney General. They'll give you an award or come back and say no. You buy the armor, and then the Attorney General will reimburse you 75% of that cost. I do want to thank the PD and especially Kim for working on this. She's crunching all the numbers and just having me sign. So I appreciate that.
So the net cost to the village would be approximately what if we got the grant?
Oh, you're making me do math off the rip.
$3,272.
That's why we have a teacher. That's great. Yeah. I can tell you what the reimbursement is, but it's the reimbursement would be for $9,816.75. But yeah, thank you, Mason. I appreciate that.
So just so everybody understands, we don't place the order for them until we get the approval on the grant. So
that's correct.
Okay. So somebody want to make that motion, please?
I'll make the motion.
I have the motion, Mayor. I just need roll call, please.
Okay, roll call.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Meadows,
Yay.
Boldazar,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Hannon.
Yay.
Motion is so approved. That is all of our stated business tonight. Anybody have anything else for the good of the village? Nate?
No, not tonight, Mayor. Sorry.
Elliot?
Not tonight, Mayor.
Nothing tonight. Matt?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Mason?
Hey, just wanted to thank Denise and all her hard work, and really appreciate her coming to our meetings and keep us informed on what's going on in the village, and keeping us moving forward with lots of different things. So we appreciate you, Denise.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have to look back and if you really sat down and look at all the events that were tentatively lined up for the village that Denise had on her plate since this whole thing started. What, Denise, your 12 days of Christmas went through. You had your virtual wine tasting thing. But I can't think of any of the others. You've had some movies, but the rest of it pretty well went away, didn't it?
For the most part, yeah. The festivals, the big things, yeah.
So we got some things we hope we can get done in this year. I know the car guys are, they are ready. They are locked and loaded for having a car show for sure this year. And we're just going to have to play along. So, Phil, do you have anything else?
Not tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Clark?
Nothing, Mayor. Thanks.
JT?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Okay. Well, I
Hey,
think
Tim, sorry. Hey, do we have an ETA on when Dollar Tree opens?
Denise, I'm going to pile over to you. Have you heard anything?
I have not.
I know they're filling their shelves.
Yeah, that's right.
Right now, they're getting deliveries and filling their shelves. Their merchandisers are there. So I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I would take a real good guess from my retail background of where they're at in the process. I'm going to guess you're going to see that store open. I'm going to guess somewhere around the 1st of March. If they've got the help, if they've got their help hired and trained, you may see that store around the 1st of March. So we'll see how that goes. Anything else? Nope. All right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Meadows,
Yay.
Tarbit,
Yay.
Hannon,
Yay.
Kishman,
Yay.
Boldazar.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you. Talk to you all soon.
We'll
Thanks.
see you guys.
See you guys.